You've won.
Yeah, you won.
Oh, fucking hell.
Portugal won.
Fucking hell.
You've won.
What?
You won. You won.
Oh my God! Yes! Oh my God! Yes!
Oh,
Oh my God! Yes!
oh my God, he doesn't know he won.
They don't know.
Oh my
He doesn't
God!
know he won.
I'm going to take.
Oh my God.
Curiously, we have here Salvador Sobral. I think he's a family member of Luisa Sobral, which is the composer of the song. I don't know if they're brother and sister, or sister and brother in this case, but it's going to be very curious because they know each other's from the bottom.
Yes, from the fetus.
From the fetus. Yes!
They're not twins. I don't know why. Who? In any case, Salvador Sobral.
Amen, hallelujah. Now, Salvador Sobral takes things to another level. He brings the French chanson into cabaret, into televised contest. He's excellent.
Yes, and he's really harking back to Ella Fitzgerald, the great jazz singers of the United
Edith
States.
Piaf.
Yes, you know, I of course am American, and this sounds very 1920s classic, but timeless. Not dated, timeless. You don't hear this genre at Eurovision very often, but when you do, for instance, Rona Nishlu, Albania, experimental jazz,
You
fifth place.
appreciate it. Yeah, 5th place, top 5. And you know what? If Salvador Sobral advances, it's definitely on the left side of the scoreboard. He's offering a different palette of what musical theatre is about.
Yeah.
And it works beautifully for Eurovision.
Jurors will love this internationally. This crosses borders. He's quirky. He's very different. From the facial hair to the way he presents, everything is unique, and I think he'll stand out because of that. Some people say it's too weird. I embrace that.
I say sophisticated, classy.
Hashtag celebrate diversity, honey.
Eu sei que não se ama sozinho, talvez devagarinho possas voltar a aprender.
Yes, at Festival da Canção, Salvador came out on top with his song. Portuguese man, how do you say it?
Amar pelos dois.
There you go. This song to me is just amazing. Some people are saying it's sleepy, some people are saying it's boring, they're saying it's quiet, they're saying it's old-fashioned. Well, I say all of these things are its strength. It's not dull, it's quiet in a sophisticated way. It's giving me that Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday realness. There is a timeless quality to this. People say he's awkward on stage. People say he looks strange. People say he has weird stage presence. Well, those are his strengths because he's quirky and different. He is not a polished diva who's going to stand there with big white teeth and her breast out going, ah. He's going to do him, and he's doing it right. Yes, it's drawn with Finland in the first half of the first semi, I think. Doesn't matter. Ballads are not black and white. There are shades of gray. People need to learn that. I'm going to stop talking after this final point. I'm going to quote Gandhi, well, paraphrase. You can ignore me, you can laugh at me, you can fight at me, but I'm going to win. And I have a strong feeling that Portugal is going to the top 5.
Well, the one thing I can tell you is in the arena, it sounded amazing. It was a clear winner. No one came even near him. And the jury saw that and gave him 80 points. And the one that came second place got 52, I think, if I'm correct. So, yeah. But this is just amazing. This is out of this world. He's my second favorite now for Eurovision after Italy. Jazzy, dreamy, arresting performance. 3 minutes of a steady camera just there, extremely quirky.
One thing I love about this is how it showcases Portuguese. It does not put me to sleep. Actually, last night, y'all, that show, it was going on, and I was like, and then this came on, and it was kind of, it woke me up, even though it's a quiet song. I think this will do well. You know, 7th in the odds for a reason. I'm predicting 4th place out of nowhere. I'm just plucking numbers out. But I think this is definitely going to the final.
In any case, we move on to my number 1.
I'm gonna guess It's Lisbon. Festival da Canção. Portugal.
Devin,
Salvador Sobral.
Devin, yes. Yes. My number one is Portugal. I never thought I would say that in years past, but this song, it's doing it for me. You have a lot of women singing very high notes. You've got, you know, people trying to be very contemporary. You've got all sorts of people trying to, you know, be radio friendly. This song is just what it is. It's doing Salvador Sobral. He's not doing anyone but himself. I like the purity, I like the simplicity. Of course, the news recently broke last night, in fact, that his sister Louisa will attend the first 2 technical rehearsals on his behalf because of health conditions. They mentioned the word heart condition in the news bulletin, so he's not arriving till May 7th, and so he won't actually perform on the stage till the dress rehearsals. And it puts a whole new kind of spin on all this, because the song itself is a sweet love song, a longing for the one who's left you. And here he is performing amid very difficult, very, very difficult circumstances. Being ill, you know, as you get older and people in your life start dying, as relatives start dying, all of these things really hit home a bit harder. And I think it's very brave what he's doing, to continue singing, to be there. You know, this is one of the biggest moments of his life on the stage, and then he's also facing one of the biggest crises of his life with the help, and he's pulling it together, and it just makes this extra powerful. But this was my number one even before all of that. I just like his quirkiness. I like how this is soft and yet powerful. You know, a quiet power. Sometimes people think power is just yeah, hey, Fuse Mark. But no, power is more than that. Power is about emotion, about pulling heartstrings, and he's doing that. He doesn't pull the heartstrings, he tugs them.
It's very good.
It's excellent, and it wouldn't surprise me if this came top 5.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think he's gonna give Portugal one of its best results ever.
You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think he will give Portugal its best result ever.
And you know what? Even in its promotion, where Salvador Sobral decidedly has decided not to go to any of these parties, he's keeping it original. He's keeping it back to that time when it's not about promoting the song. It's not about gimmickry. It's just about the song, and it's about being so emotive on stage.
When people give you hate and give you shade, the most amazing thing you can do is respond with love. And that's what he's doing. He's giving love to his fans, and that's the response to the hate. You know what? He has had health issues. He's been open about that. And the fact that he's still persevered, even more points in my book. There's nothing, I don't fault him personally. I don't fault him professionally. I think this slays. You know what? Emily DeForest, she didn't go to any preview events, and she won.
She was in London, actually.
Besides London, she didn't go to any events, and she won. You know, I don't think Loreen was, you know, on the road campaigning. Sometimes people...
Loreen didn't actually leave Sweden for
Well, there you go, and she killed it, so you don't have to leave. And point of story, we're going to rate the song ultimately, and I think this song is beautiful. I think it speeds by, actually. It's 3 minutes, but to me it feels like 90 seconds, and that's a mark of quality when you enjoy something so much that you're not even watching as the clock goes by. I think this will be Portugal's best ever result. I think this is going to the final, and I'm not even kidding. I think this is a dark horse to win it all. I really think it's a dark horse. I think the juries are going to love this, and I think enough people will love it that it will be minimum top 10. Minimum. Salvador Sobral is in Portugal, but he dispatched his sister Louisa here to Kiev. You guys, he is in good hands, and so is she. The stage production is on point. Shall we talk about it? Let's do this! OMG, the stage production is amazing. They have managed to keep the simplicity from Festival da Canção, but make it a bit more interesting, a bit more contemporary, without overpowering the song. So the song is still very pure. He, or in this case she, stands on a platform island, much like a nuke, in the middle of the audience, and the camera pans behind, it pans above. It's in a mystical forest, serving some fern gully realness. It's like a tropical rainforest, but not so tropical. Like, you can relate to it. It's the forest down the street that you want to get into, but there's a fence, and it is pure and pristine. What I'm trying to say is this is beautiful, and I can access it.
With a song as simple as this one, I would actually be pissed if the organization didn't get the directing right, you know? And they managed to do it. They managed to keep it raw, managed to keep it simple, and actually it even works with Louisa. Even for just a rehearsal.
She looks like him.
Yeah, she's her brother. She's a sister, actually. So yeah, this, I have no words, to be honest. I was really emotional after the first run through, because I was not expecting something like this. I was actually expecting them to completely destroy this, and they didn't. So I'm quite happy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the staging was fabulous in that it was just so simple. It was trees, we've seen it so many times, but it suited the mood of the song. This isn't a song that you want pyro or smoke machines or wind machines.
No.
But my main issue is that we can't tell what it's like properly because Salvador is not there, obviously. So I'm very excited to see what Salvador does with it. But yeah, it's one of those simple songs, I think, like a nuke, that staged well. It's just staged well and simple, and they haven't lost the plot and thrown everything at it.
Yeah, you know, if you listen quietly, I bet you can hear the sound of odds dropping. Like, I would hope so, because this deserves to be considered a favorite.
I say this is a contender. This is in contention to win the semi-final and to be on top 5.
See, what they've managed to do is get a song that could come out of any era within the last 100 years, but rather than being dated, it's timeless.
Yeah.
And it's something that you could imagine Judy Garland singing. Yeah, they've done a really good job.
We don't have the words. Love for 2, make it love for 3. Throw in Salvador as 4 and the sisters 5. Let's do this. It is April 30th, and the first rehearsals at Eurovision 2017 have come to a close. We saw 9 acts, so we're gonna go around and discuss our winners, our losers, our growers, our disappointments. We're gonna talk about all of it. Are you ready? Let's do this.
My favorite performance, I'm not saying favorite song, my favorite performance was Portugal. Just they got everything right. Well, the only thing they didn't get right was that they didn't have Salvador, but that was unavoidable, we're told. The staging, it was where everything that Belgium got wrong, Portugal got right. Because they realised that their song, its magic lies in its intimacy.
Yeah.
And so there's no point having a singer standing all alone on a giant stage that's full of emptiness. So what they've
Blanche.
done... Yeah. What they've done instead is they've put her on the island, and she'll be surrounded by fans, but it will be very intimate because the island is so small. And then she's kind of encapsulated by a forest, and the forest then just gives it kind of a sort of old world feel that kind of reflects the timeless nature of the song itself. And my biggest disappointment was that we didn't get to hear Salvador. While Luisa is fine at singing it, it's not her version that we've fallen in love with, it's Salvador's, and he's got that rich jazz vocal that's unique.
His quirkiness set against the beautiful forest and, you know, this timeless melody, that's what's interesting and arresting. He delivers this. This is also my favorite, by the way, I should point out. This is my winner. Portugal is my winner for the day. This is really going to challenge. I think this will win the semi-final. I think the jury is going to love this. They're going to absolutely vote for this. Televote, it will be a bit divided because obviously, Chris, I can hear your eyes rolling in my head. But I just got to say, there's a lot of love for this, and a lot of people who were skeptical before also, I just heard they've also been convinced. The danger here was doing something too complicated to take away from the simplicity, but they enhanced rather than taking away. This was emotional, this was sweet. When Salvador gets there, it's going to go to another level. She wrote this with the male vocal in mind. She wrote this with little brother in mind, and that authenticity is really going to come through when he is singing. There's something very warm about the whole Portuguese, entry this year. The whole team, the whole nation's really getting behind this because they've not been in this position ever, if I believe, and it's so well deserved after so many years of struggling. So I think also maybe some jurors will be sympathetic to that and want to push Portugal up. They've given them a great spot in the running order, putting them as late as they can in the first half. So to me, that suggests the EBU, or the producers at least, want Portugal to do well. And I got to tell you, 2 of the 3, we want you to do well. I want you to win this semi-final. You deserve it. Final thoughts?
I think as well, if people are drawing comparisons, they automatically think of Italy 2011.
Yes.
But I think this is a much more accessible entry, and it kind of harks back to the classic black and white films that everybody's seen in their childhood, whereas Italy was very high-end, arty-farty jazz.
Yeah, I didn't like
and they came second.
Yeah.
So there's nothing stopping Portugal from doing better.
Look, I will applaud Portugal. They got the staging right. I completely think that they have done it the right kind of staging. The backdrop is very nice. At the end of the day, I'm never going to like the song. But I will say I do prefer Louisa's version of it as well. I just think that she is a vocalist who I prefer to hear. But at the same time, it just passes me by every
Very
time
talented woman, different strokes for different folks. I'm going to close this video out by saying that one person who was touched was our Portuguese correspondent, Bernardo Tavares Pereira. Step into the frame, sit behind. He was very emotional to the point that I had to console him afterwards. You were feeling this? Just 2 or 3 quick words, the battery is dying.
Well, I just interviewed Louisa. He's going up soon. And she was very happy with the rehearsal. And people in Portugal understand the message of the song and understand the process that was behind creating it, and that creates, there's something in the way all of the process worked from the first minute till this moment that make it even more magical.
In just a few minutes, the semi-final one jury final of Eurovision 2017 is going to take place. We have now seen all 42 rehearsals, so it's time to go around and name our top 3 of Eurovision 2017. Honey, are you ready? Let's do this! In any case, my number 1, and I never thought I would say this, you know, a few months ago before we knew all the songs, is Portugal. Salvador Sobral erasing the errors of Portugal's past at Eurovision and giving us something truly amazing. This is just emotionally gripping from the first note to the last. He is rocking simplicity, and that is a huge contradiction. As other women scream and shout in front of pyro and things explode, he ain't doing that. He's just sitting there. This may be one of the most high-tech stages of all time, but he is gonna slay in a low-tech way, an analog way, a song that is classic and yet amazing and contemporary, a song that seems timeless and yet is somehow rooted in today because of the staging. I think this is really, really beautiful. He's got a fragility to his voice and to his presence. When he's singing, he does these motions. He's in his own world. He's not paying attention to anyone else. And it's a sweet, tender quality that really touches you, especially amid all the latex and glitter and confetti that we have going on everywhere else. I just find this very stirring on an emotional level, and the fact that he's been ill takes it to a whole nother level. And I really hope that commentators mention that in their introductions, because that will help him get some sympathy votes. But he doesn't need the sympathy vote. He doesn't need it. He's got the talent. But I would like to see him do well, so why not mention it? Let's nourish this. And the semifinal is starting, so we have to go. Bye! The semi-final 1 jury show of Eurovision 2017 has come to a close. We have seen all 18 of the semi-finalists perform, so now it's time to go around, review the acts, and then talk about the potential winner. Are you ready? Let's do this! From the darkness of Azerbaijan, we turn to Portugal. Salvador Sobral serving light in his enchanted forest. You guys, this was really magical. This was really, really enchanting. He has his quirkiness. We've talked about it repeatedly, and tonight he kind of ad-libbed by playing a little violin when he was singing. He was really feeling it. Before he went on, you could see him, because they do a shot of the artist right before they go on, and he was telling the audience to hush. I actually bumped into him in the bathroom, kitchen area downstairs before the performance, and he said, oh yeah, I'm worried about people on the island maybe being quite loud, and so it was interesting to see him shushing them. But he didn't have to shush them because his song and his voice are so magical. People stopped talking. There were tingles in the room. I really felt, this was the first time I properly felt winner's vibe from this. I felt a winner's vibe, and this is the right time to be feeling it. Louisa laid down a great foundation, and he is building upon it.
Definitely, because during the show in the press center, there's always this kind of constant mumble, because not everyone there is the biggest fan as us, and some of them are just there to do their job.
To get free CDs.
Yeah, and they don't care. But the whole room went silent for Salvador, and kind of during the first dress rehearsal earlier, he didn't seem to have that same magic. And it was nearly as if, oh no, has he kind of lost his chances by not doing all the first and second rehearsals last week? But yeah, that winner's vibes came there during the jury final.
I get it. I get it.
Yay!
I still don't like the tics. I still think there's a few too many of them. But if a Marpelos does won Eurovision, I would not be sad.
Let's do this! Let's do this!
Mic drop.
Let's do this! Am I still in focus, y'all? The first semi-final of Eurovision 2017 has come to a close. 18 acts sang, but only 10 made the final. Should we talk about it? Let's do this! Can I quickly get our Portuguese correspondent, Bernardo Tavares Barrera?
Yeah.
What do you make of Portugal's qualification?
Expected, I think. I think everyone was expecting it, and I was happy that 7 years after our last qualification, we finally made it. And we made it with a good song, with an awesome performance, and an awesome singer.
Absolutely. Let's
Do
quickly...
you think Portugal won the semi?
I do think Portugal won the semi.
The Eurovision 2017 jury final has just taken place after months of build-up, thousands of blog posts, hundreds of interviews. We're finally here. Should we talk about it? Let's do this! We turn to Portugal. Yes, Salvador Sobral. Beautiful, stunning. When he sings on that island and people hold up their iPhones and smartphones, it's like Adele performing at the O2. It is still, it is quiet, and he sounds beautiful. This is my personal winner this evening. I think that this is a very, I won't say very likely winner, but it has a very strong chance of winning. The bookies have this right.
Yeah, it's just classy, sweet, magical, all those kind of words. And he's enjoying himself up there as well, because during his dress rehearsals, he adds in a bit of ad-libbing. He's done it twice now. He doesn't do it during the actual jury show, which wouldn't be a clever idea. But yeah, the room literally goes completely silent, and for every other song there's a constant murmur, but it just a hush descends. And yeah, it's not hard whatsoever to see why he's favourite, and I can totally see winners' vibes.
This was his best performance yet. It's simple as that, really. I almost felt he was a bit more pared back than usual, because my whole thing has always been the movements and this and that. It felt like there was more subtle ones tonight. I don't know whether that was just, he seems to make it up as he goes along sometimes, but no, very good. I can see why this is a favourite, and I can see why we might be going to Lisbon.
And the recap video showed him going like this, which is a very memorable expression.
Yeah.
I think that's deliberate. I think it's smart. Fantastic. Now look, that's what we think about all the individual acts. Let's quickly go around and name our top two and who we think the jury gave their top two to.
Portugal, Bulgaria, and I think Portugal got the top from the juries.
And I think Bulgaria or Portugal won the jury vote.
I think Portugal and Bulgaria came top two, and I think Portugal won the jury vote.
Lisbon Hunter.
This is amazing.
You've won!
Yeah, you won.
Oh, fucking hell. Portugal won. Fucking hell. You've won! What? You won! You won! Oh my God! Yes! Fucking hell! Yes!
Oh,
Oh my God! Yes!
Oh my God, he doesn't know he won.
They don't know? Oh my
doesn't
God!
know he won.
I'm going to take. Oh my God!
Hola, Portugal! Congratulations, the drought is over after 60 years, 0 wins. You guys are finally on top. Should we talk about it? Let's do this! That's right, Salvador Sobral has come out on top. You guys, anticipation has been building for weeks, well, days really, and we are getting very emotional here in the house of Wiwi. He topped both the jury result and the televote, and then Bulgaria finished second in both the televote and the jury vote.
One of the most exciting Eurovision cycles ever.
We knew that these were the two favorites, and they came through. First reactions to the winner.
Oh my God. Whatever reaction we had as a collective didn't compare to Bernardo's, but we were extremely happy. This was unexpected. We thought it would Salvador would top the juries, but we didn't see it for the televote. And in true Eurovision 2016 style, we thought the rankings would also change. So we were on edge the whole time.
Yeah, like as soon as the top 10 started coming, we were like, is it going to be Portugal? Is it going to be Portugal? Then it was coming to the top 2, and we thought that Bulgaria would have won the televote. I did anyway. But it's well deserved, and it's so nice to see Portugal after all these years winning with a song completely in their own language.
You're real emotional.
Chris?
Bernardo Tavares Pereira is our Portuguese correspondent, and as you can tell, he's having a moment. You have been following them since Festival da Canção. You told us.
Yeah, before.
You told us he's going to win Eurovision after Festival da Canção, and people thought you were crazy.
Well, I wasn't. It won Eurovision. I'm speechless. I wasn't really I was expecting it, but at the same time I wasn't expecting it because it's Portugal we're talking about. 47 years of participations, no win, no actually good results, sixth place, no top 5 ever.
Well, baby, we're going to Lisbon.
Yes, honey.
Well done, Portugal. Salvador Sobral, you won me over. I am very, very glad that in the end, was he my favourite? No, but you know what? The story, the magic of that moment, the final reprise, everything about that. Portugal, you are a deserved winner of Eurovision 2017.
I'm happy that Portugal won, but not with this song because this song, it's not my type of song. I don't listen to this kind of music. But I'm happy to go to Portugal, and I'm happy that they actually won, and I'm so happy that the results were really exciting.
He closed his eyes and connected with the audience in a world of his own. It was giving me tingles. It was spellbinding.
I felt your tingles, honey. I was right next.
That's personal.
I felt it, though. You should have kept it to yourself. I must admit, kudos to RTP for shaking up Festival da Canção. The 60th anniversary show was fantastic. We were on it. Bernardo was on it. And of course, a winner has emerged from it. And that is really good. And again, congrats to EBU for making exceptions. You know, like obviously Luisa had to stand in due to health concerns. And it's just good to accommodate quality acts.
And isn't it interesting that the year that you're allowed to sing in English in the Portuguese selection, they send a Portuguese song and it wins Eurovision. Authenticity, honey. Yeah, it's just fantastic. We have a Portuguese commentator right here. Quick thought, how do you feel about your win? He is over the moon, and so are we.
We were not happy. What's beyond happy? That's it. It was about time.
Euphoric.
But it's so good for the contest, not just for Portugal, because this, like Salvador said, it's about time to change the cycle. We've been heading quite enough. I love electronic pop music. I love good produced ballads, but it's about time to change the cycle. And this will make a lot of people think about natural language, other sorts of approaches to arrangements. Jazz has a space in Eurovision, or jazzy tunes. Everything has a space in Eurovision as long as it's a good song.
Y'all, we got to wrap this up. The press conference is starting. That's what we think. What do you think? You can let us know here on Wiwi Blog.
Yes, be sure to download the app. It's still available on iOS and Android.
Hit subscribe. Hit the microphone.
And meet you in Portugal next year.
Comment down below with whatever you think.
And like the video.
Love for two? No, it's love for millions. We'll see you later. Bye!